forgot to bring this up yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but experienced something this weekend that's going to become more pervasive throughout my life, at least for the next decade or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Working on the basement, got my daughter's like art area set up, and I'm putting the Surface Studio in there because that's a good thing, right? She can doodle, right? She's going to get more use out of it than whatever. So, have you ever tried to create a child's account on a Windows 10 PC, Paul?
Yeah, I did because I had to write about it in whatever book over time, and yeah. So
I
your daughter doesn't have an email address that she can just use for that? Is that
No, and guess what, Paul? She also doesn't have a cell phone number that she can just use either. Um,
right?
I was really befuddled by this because I'm like, you click the thing and it's like they don't have an email. Well, I don't want to. She doesn't. I don't want to set her up with one. It's what I'm going to have to do though,
Right.
is set her up an account. But
Well,
then
you
I was
have
like,
to. It's because the family safety stuff is in the cloud now.
which is
Yeah,
really.
I know.
What if you don't want your
I know.
family in the cloud? What if you
I
want them
know.
on premises? Then
This has gone back and forth over the years, and I will never remember the details, but it's tied to the parental controls stuff that you have when you make
Right.
a child account, et cetera. And yeah, it's
yeah.
not great. It's yeah. I mean, as my kids have gotten older, I don't think about this anymore. Like, obviously, I don't care about it now. But I mean, but I still have to. Every time I update the book, I have to
Yeah.
look at it again and be like, and I still, and right now, if I go into users or accounts, I guess, in Windows 10, and let me, where is this thing? Family and other users. No, where is it? I just saw this. Yeah, I have a couple of family members listed, and what I eventually did over time was I just added other accounts of mine rather than them, because I can't manage, like, my daughter has well, actually, maybe she doesn't anymore. I mean, I know my son has a Microsoft account because he uses it for Xbox Live, but he's 21 years old. Like, I can't manage it for him.
Right.
Like, he got, you know what I mean? So I had to create sub accounts of my own that I manage with family settings. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so here's the scenario. I'm trying to set this up. My kid is like next to me doing what any 6-year-old would see when they see a giant touchscreen, just like bouncing all around. And I'm trying to figure out how to set her up an account. And so
Yep.
you can't, and I'm like, I'm not setting up an email account right now. And I'm like, okay, I'll use a phone. Wait, she doesn't have a phone number. So I punch in my phone number. Nope, can't be the same phone number.
Can't be the same phone number.
Can't be my email either.
Which, by the way, is insane because on a normal Microsoft account, you can use the same number on multiple accounts, because you can use it for two-factor authentication. And so I get, for my secondary accounts, because I never put them in the Microsoft Authenticator app or whatever, because, well, like, who cares? Like, I only need it sometimes, so I'll just have them send a text message. I get multiple text messages,
Yeah.
multiple accounts, I get messages for multiple accounts to the same number. So I know it's possible, but I think it's like a limitation of child accounts. Like, exactly when you would want to use the same number. Like, obviously, I want to use the parent's phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what I ended up doing was just setting up a local account, but that's not the same thing, because then she could, in theory, go in there and do whatever,
Yep.
buy crap or
course.
whatever.
Yep. Yeah, she's
So
a-
I'm gonna have to get all that set up. And to us, we can rationalize, like, okay, it's in the cloud, like, I get it, but like to the lay person, they have no clue, and there's no
Crazy.
verbiage really that's kind of dictating out why. It's just all you get is like, you can't use that email account. And you're like, what the?
So when you created a local account, did you make it a standard or an admin account?
No, standard. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's problems either way,
Yeah.
But okay.
Anyway, so like any good parent, after I was really frustrated, I just turned around and took it out on my daughter. Just, she never sees that uppercut coming, and just be like, "You're the
right.
reason why this is
Why
happening."
there are pillows down there, Brad? Just
The teeth are gonna fall out anyways. Who cares? Anyway, so and then I posted that on Twitter. Then people started saying, "If you think that's fun, wait till you try to do it on Xbox Live." And I'm not ready to.
Right. I think very early on with Mark, I just didn't. I didn't.
Conceded.
He's going to do what he wants to do. It's fine.
Well, she will. I don't even know if she'll ever be into gaming, but she will have the option of any game in Game Pass. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, there you go.
that's what you get.
Right.
Which.
Right.
So, anyway, so that's what I was doing over the weekend. I got to find the keyboard and mouse which, interestingly enough, my daughter could not care less
Right, of course, because she just wants to touch the
Yeah,
screen.
she just grabbed the pen and was like, I just want color. Like, I just want to draw. Like, she drew a great picture. Like, whatever. Like, it's fine. Um, but that thing is slow. Man, I kind of forgot how. I need to open that thing up and put a solid, like, true solid state in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And kind of want to,
Right.
like, rip the fans out while I'm at it. That's really annoying because it's like she's sitting there drawing and all you hear in the background is like,
I know it's so weird.
it's such a pretty looking thing. But
But that's a good example of form over function. You know, they
yeah.
could have had the screen and the box be separate. There's no reason it couldn't have been a
Mm-hmm.
a bigger box with more cooling you put on the floor. It doesn't, but they obviously they're looking for that all-in-one elegant design. And
Yeah, well, the good thing is they've kept it updated, and
well, they'll be updating in the show. I see.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna see that this spring. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. There was a new Edge roadmap that actually I haven't read it yet. Did that actually come out or did it leak?
No, it was posted on purpose to the tech community site by someone from
Okay.
Microsoft, and they didn't describe it as a roadmap, although that's what it is. It was basically a list of the feature requests that they've gotten, that they've either agreed to implement, and here's the time frame, or it's in discussions now, or it's on, and there were a couple they're not going to do, but
Yeah.
they're open to a lot of different things. It looks like, and obviously the big bucket stuff like extension and history sync is happening. I mean, it's going to. They actually listed extension sync as happening in February this month, but it's happening this month in Canary. So, I mean, you could kind of, I don't know how that works out exactly, but I suppose you probably add 6 weeks or something to get the real, or maybe even more than 6 weeks. I'm not sure what the exact time frame is for like stable, but, and this, I mean, honestly, as you would imagine, knowing the old Edge, I mean, there's a bunch of requests for things that used to be there. That are coming, like table, if you do PDF support in the new Edge, like it's kind of basic today, and they're going to add like table content support with navigation and read aloud support for PDF, and they're looking at doing inking and all kinds of stuff. So it's good.
Yeah. Building on your like internet tracking thing, this happened to me yesterday or the day before. So
Yeah.
I went onto the Netflix. Honestly, I was just looking for something for like some background.
Now, what do you mean by that? You went to Netflix where?
Through my Apple TV.
Okay.
And just wanted some background like noise, and I was going to be doing some writing or whatever. So I searched Top Gear because I like Top Gear. I liked it, even though it's not on. I was just going to put on some old episodes while I was just working or whatever. And it's not on Netflix anymore. I'm like, whatever. So my default is honestly just Planet Earth. Like you can just throw that on the background. David Attenborough just rambles away, and I can just start whatever. So I was just perusing Instagram this morning, and all the ads I see are for Motor Trend streaming service where Top Gear is actually available.
Oh,
Son of a...
interesting.
It's like even Netflix is selling my datas.
I was waiting for someone to kind of come back and say, "You're an idiot. This is obvious," something like that. And I don't think I got that, but like,
I can fix that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with this instance in particular, like, why would you think that the browser would prevent this kind of thing? Like, I got to be honest, I did.
Yeah.
I really did. I guess I think I arrived at what happened and why it happened and why it makes sense. But again, the problem here is I don't want this to happen. So I switched browsers, right? And there are other reasons to use Edge, rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like the Microsoft account integration. I trust Microsoft more than I trust Google for sure. And it strips out a bunch of the Google stuff, and that's neat. But it's funny, like it kind of doesn't strip out the core of the Google stuff because you and I and others, have to or maybe want to use services like Gmail or whatever, and it doesn't prevent that kind of tracking. Which is, I think, how this happened. In other words, the way I tweeted it was like I went to the web and went to the New Balance website, and I couldn't, whatever, and I started seeing ads, and that's true. But I sort of realized later I'd left out a part of the story, which is that because the New Balance website is terrible, and they stop selling shoes all the time, so the shoes I'm trying to find don't exist anymore. And I went back to Gmail to find shoes I had ordered in the past, to find the model number or whatever. And I think that's how I was tracked, because obviously the browser trusts Gmail. Gmail's not a malicious website, and I do business with Google. So why wouldn't I want that account information to follow me around or something? But I don't want that. The truth is, like, I don't like me searching for something turning into ads.
Yeah.
And yikes. And by the way, here's a little thing just to kind of throw through your mind. I mean, you could block ads. I mean, a lot of people suggested that. And by the way, I normally do. But the only reason I saw this is because on this particular computer, for whatever reason, I know why. Because freaking Edge doesn't sync extensions. And I just forgot to add that ad blocker, right? Because it's not syncing. That's the only reason I saw the ad. So if I was blocking ads, wouldn't I'm still getting tracked, right? Like if I block the ad, all I'm doing is not seeing the ad, which means I'm not seeing the tracking.
Yep.
So I don't know. I thought it'd be simpler, but it looks like I have to do more, than just switch around.
One of the options is a VPN, which I've toyed with that idea, but the problem is for both of us, we have the same issue because we do a lot of streaming and podcasting. VPNs introduce a level of latency. And another layer of complexity, and that makes me a bit nervous.
I play video games, dude. I can barely play Call of Duty on a Wi-Fi network as it is. Like I can't afford any more latency, Yeah. Yeah. So.
Which that actually just reminded me. This is.
What's that?
So this is like way out of left field, but you'll see the connection here. So I'm going to be moving my office at some point this year into a different room, and I actually ran 2 hardline Ethernet cords into it, which is now my daughter's room. But it's not going to happen for a little bit because we got to buy some stuff, and it's just not a priority. In my current office, I only have 1 hardline Ethernet cord,
right.
And I have it plugged into my desktop PC, which is where it should be. But what I just realized what I could do is plug that into a switch, and then I could plug one into the computer and then one into the Xbox and solve my Wi-Fi problem up there.
How does that solve my problem?
It doesn't, but it solves mine.
I guess I could get going with the Ethernet cable thing.
Yeah. How's that? Have you?
Well, again, I had to do my office stuff first.
Yes, which looks good, by the way. How much swearing was done?
You know what? Actually, it was surprisingly easy. Well, I shouldn't. It's an Ikea thing. Like, obviously, it's easy. But I was thinking, like, well, maybe I'll build one. Like you were just talking about watching Planet Earth. I kind of did the same thing. I threw a movie on that I had already seen, and just to have it kind of going in the background, and whatever. No, it happened pretty quickly, and relatively painlessly. Other than there's probably blood stains all over it somewhere, but
hopefully,
it's just from the normal. I think I just hurt myself opening the box, like not from actually constructing it.
Yeah, the worst part is usually moving those things because they're not once they're assembled, but the boxes that they come in are
the boxes
quite heavy.
were harder to move than the things were.
Yeah.
And actually, because they have little things on the bottom to prevent the floor from being scraped. Like once they're on the hardwood, you can just push them in place. It was pretty easy, but I still have to. The curtain behind me is here. Actually, it's in a box. It needs to be ironed, but that will be like a dark gray color.
Kind of like the wall. Well, my walls aren't dark gray in my basement. They're light gray.
Trying to filter out the yellow.
Yeah, that's looking better.
Yeah, let's get there. Although it's funny, like this has an almost yellow. This has like a slightly yellowish cast to it. Just I guess from the walls, which by the way are not yellow, but they don't look at all yellow. Like they're just beige. But
yeah, what color is the curtain? I bet it's the curtain that's throwing it off.
I don't know what to call it. I mean, it's kind of like a light to medium brown. Maybe.
I bet that's what it is because the camera's probably trying to white balance with that.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm hoping the gray will, and then I can put something up. I'll put something that's blocking.
Put a picture
I didn't want to
there.
have 2 massive things. Yeah, put a picture of Joe Belfiore up there or something. I don't know. There'll be something. Put my Neil Award up there.
Yeah, you can do it. You got a lot of options. Let's just put it.
Yeah,
a lot of options for Paul throughout over and.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You got anything else for?
Just one quick thing. I mentioned the UWP thing I was working on for the .NET Pad app or whatever, and I got to say, like the more I kind of fool around with it, the more I like the idea of a UWP version of this app. Like I don't want to spend months on it like I did with the other one, but. I don't know, maybe a couple weeks wouldn't be horrible. Also, I wrote about it, knowing that people were going to come in there and like kind of crap on me because for some reason, um, I'm like the target of every UWP's developer's hatred because I
Well,
said
you
what was
killed Windows
said.
Phone, so
I know. It's like, what did I? All I did was say what someone said. Like, anyway, apparently I'm a one man, conspiracy to destroy this platform or something. But I'm actually a one man conspiracy to try to make the platform better. Anyway, um, UWP is a freaking mess. But the fact that you can make this app that kind of contorts to the screens and everything, like I like that. And
hmm
my end game here is I want to make an app for the book that will support different layouts, and specifically will support dual screen layouts on Duo, not Duo, on Neo and other 10x devices. So I'm going to keep. Oh, I'm sorry. The reason I brought this up, the feedback has been largely positive.
Hmm.
And I've heard from developers who know UWP, and they're like, you are raising a good point. This is a problem, and it is bad, and blah, blah, blah. And some of them are offering help. And this is the kind of interchange I appreciate,
Yeah.
and as anyone would, right? I spent most of yesterday listening to some guy on Twitter telling me how I make all these like lies and substantiated claims about UWP, and I never respond to the critics. And I responded to him all day long, and he just kept repeating it. I'm like, dude, you keep saying that I'm lying, but I'm not. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But anyway, that's the kind of interaction that's terrible. But it's the article stuff has been nice, and so it's been good. So
Yeah. You know what I still don't have?
I don't know.
Gmail and my Outlook.
That is really weird.
I even thought maybe logging in from like Chrome a couple times might like
Yep.
trigger the gnomes on the back end to give me the feature. Nope.
I mean,
I don't know.
obviously they were kind of in a limited test. Maybe they still are. I had read an article one day where they said, "Oh, this thing is now broadly available," and I went and looked, and it was there, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that must be true." But maybe they just, let more people in or something. Maybe it wasn't the full thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it. And I blame you.
Well, the problem is you're going to wait all this time to see it, and when you get it, you're going to be like, "Yeah, this doesn't work."
Yeah, I'm not losing sleep over this one. So
I will. By the way, real quick, I will say because we talked about this. Excuse me. I went over to the laptop I'm using now, removed the shortcuts to all the web apps I'm using, and I just configured Mail and Calendar to use all my accounts.
Yeah.
Not just my primary account, and then I actually did it on the desktop here, and so I'm using the Mail app on the desktop. And I will say, I hate it. No, I having now done a little bit of UWP, I kind of understand the UI that they've made, like how it came together. But what it doesn't explain is this central issue I have with this app, which is that I can't configure text-based emails to be like a font size. It kind of auto does it. So, and that font size is always too small. And so when I go back and forth between like an HTML formatted email, which looks beautiful, and then to a plain text email, the font size of the text email is possibly 50%. Like it's just too small. Like
really?
I can deal with it. It's worse on a super high res screen. This is only like a 1440p screen, but that's my thing. It's like a complete amateur, like would
Yeah,
have,
I'm looking at it right now.
like I understand what it would take to fix this. It's nothing. Like this problem is so easily solved. It would make me stop worrying about email. Like if they would just fix this one thing, I would just use it. You have to kind of learn the shortcuts and stuff.
But that's not. They're pretty similar.
Familiarity, it's fine.
I am looking right now for a
right?
way
See
to.
what I'm saying? No, it's not there. There is no control.
No,
you can't. You can on the fly zoom it, right?
There's
you
default font, but that's for your writing.
It's for your reply.
Yeah.
So if and the other thing, like for example, even on if you have do you have a scroll wheel on your mouse or whatever?
Yeah, I'm using the trackpad.
Oh, okay. So you can do like a touch, like a gesture to do it. When you zoom, it only does it for the one email you're looking at. Doesn't save it. It doesn't respect the container, so it zooms. You know what I mean? Out
infinitely.
Yeah, it's like the most unsophisticated. That literally, if they just fix this one thing, would make this app usable for me. I would do it. I would use it.
Yeah, I use
That's
it
all
every
it
day.
is. Right? But you see the problem.
Yeah, no, I can understand how this would be frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you're wrong.
Okay.
I don't know what you're wrong about, but I just
Well, I'm sure,
no, but I
back
mean it
in,
does. Like if you zoom in on one and then you go to that other email or even go back, it doesn't
well, it
retain.
doesn't, if the block of text is like this big and you zoom, it zooms like it doesn't
Yeah.
zoom within the container and reflow. It breaks off the sides. Like that zoom alone is useless. But the fact that you can't say, look, I want text to be this size.
Mm-hmm.
I could if you gave me this app source code, I could fix it. Like it's that simple.
There's the challenge, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out.
Put it on
They
GitHub,
should,
guys.
of all the things
Put it
they
on
should
GitHub.
open source, this should be one of them.
Well, the other one, of course, is, I don't know if you do this, but I use Outlook Mobile on my phone, and I looked at it and I think, oh my God, why is this just not on the computer?
No, I think we've been saying that for how long? Many years now?
Every time. And you can picture, it's on a phone, so you get in the navigation pane with the messages. You just add the reading pane, and there's your
You
app.
don't even need, imagine it, just go grab it on the iPad. It's the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right.
That's all we need.
Yep. It's right there.
It's right there.
No? Too simple? Okay.
And we will be right there tomorrow on First Ring Daily.